His Excellency, President of the International Criminal Court. Excellency, today, 26 March 2022, is a history day for the people of Aceh. Acheese diaspora in Scandinavia and together with the peoples of West Papua and South Moluccas have gathered here in the city of peace, The Hague, to commemorate the 149th anniversary of the Dutch Declaration of War against the sovereign independent state of Aceh. That was 26 March 1873. 149 years ago, today, the Kingdom of the Netherlands officially declared war against the sovereign state of Aceh, and on the same day invaded our country. The war lasted almost a century, as Harper's Magazine had called 100-year War of Today, of the bloodiest and the longest colonial war in human history. On 27 December 1949, the Dutch colonial regime that has neither de jure nor de facto power of Aceh illegally transferred its non-existent sovereignty over Aceh to Indonesia without elections or consultation with the people of Aceh. This illegal transfer of sovereignty by one colonial power to another, namely Indonesia, is a flagrant violation of the principle of the decolonization procedure of the United Nations, which stipulated that sovereignty over a colonial territory is not transferable by the colonialist power to other colonialist powers. United Resolution 1514-15. In this case, the Netherlands must return Aceh to the Achees, the rightful owner, not to Indonesia. On the basis of the above-mentioned illegal annexation of Aceh to Indonesia, Aceh Sumatra National Liberation Front, ASLNF, was then established in 1976. Of independent Aceh was issued on 4th December in the same year. The re-establishment of Aceh as the successor state of the history state of Aceh is in line with a number of UN resolutions. Among others, other resolution 1514-15 and 26-21-25, etc. Violation of human rights, the crime of genocide, crime against humanity, war crimes. For almost 3 decades, Aceh had become a killing field for the Indonesian armed forces, ABRI. Between 1989 and 1998, Aceh was then declared as a military operational area, DOM, and ruled by the reign of terror. The atrocities perpetrated through these years have no equal in the history of Aceh fighting against any colonial powers in the past. Crimes against humanity, such extrajudicial killings and disappearance of thousands of civilians, had become commonplace. An estimation of over 30,000 civilians lost their lives in military custody, in hidden mass graves, or in secret concentration camps. After a nearly decade of brutalities, DOM was lifted in 1999 and another military operation, Operasi Wibawa 99, a joint military police operation soon introduced. Throughout this year, a series of massacres have been taking place in Aceh. Kandang massacre in North Aceh. 3rd January, Idi Chut massacre in East Aceh. 3rd February, Dewantara massacre at Simpang KKA, North Aceh. 3rd May, Butung Atu massacre. 23rd July, and many other mass unlawful killings that had cost over 1,000 Achees lives in one single year. These military operations continued unabated with the same intensity and brutality. Martial law was then imposed between May 2003 and May 2004, and another reign of terror was again in process until Aceh was devastated by the deadly Indian Ocean tsunami on the Boxing Day of 2004. This natural disaster, coupled with a prolonged war, had brought the Republic of Indonesia and Free Aceh movement GAM signed a peace deal known as Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) in Helsinki, Finland, on 15 August 2005. In conclusion, 22 years after the 1999 massacres, not a single perpetrator of this flagrant violation of human rights against innocent Achees has been brought to justice, signaling that such violations are allowed to be violated in Aceh with impunity. Almost 17 years after Helsinki Accord signed, nothing has changed with regard to protecting of human rights and resolving the past abuses. The Regional House of Representatives enacted a bylaw with regard to Trust and Reconciliation Commission (TRC) on 31st December 2013. But Human Rights Watch stated that violations in Aceh by the Truth Commission, which cannot impose criminal penalties, have an obligation under international law to prosecute serious abuses of human rights. Amnesty International, in one of its extensive Time to Face the Past, April 2013, reminded us by saying, "The conflict remains an open wound. The fate of many of those killed is still unknown. Perpetrators of human rights abuses walk free." Human Rights Watch Brad Adam pointed out in May Report 2006, the military leaders who committed crime in Aceh have been rewarded, not punished. The international community has pursued justice for past abuses in East Timor, as well as in Rwanda, Sierra Leone, and the former Yugoslavia. Why should Aceh be treated any differently, he wondered. It is obvious that the abuses perpetrated by the security forces during the conflict fall into the category of genocides, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. They are considered as serious violations committed as part of a large-scale attack against any civilian population, and in the Rome Statute, such as murder, rape, imprisonment, enforced disappearance, torture, etc. Asnlf therefore appeal to your organization, the International Criminal Court, to independently examine the incident of violence and accountability for massacres, genocides, and war crimes perpetrated by the state. In this case, the security forces of Indonesia act in accordance with your mandates, meaning that it is incumbent for your organization to react when states such as Indonesia are obviously unable or unwilling to prosecute the perpetrators of all these crimes against Aceh civilians. And finally, bring all Indonesian war criminals to The Hague and try for their crime against humanity as you have justly done to those in Rwanda, former Yugoslavia, Libya, etc. Thank you for your attention.
Aceh! Merdeka! Aceh! Merdeka!